Tim Carter, AskTheBuilder.com. It's day number 2 of the rough carpentry, and they got a lot more done. Let's take a look at what happened. First of all, remember, I am not building this home. Any mistakes you see, they're not mine. And if you discover something new in this video, I'm pretty certain you're going to. I'd appreciate it if you would click that thanks text link under the video, make a small donation. All the revenue I use, I plow back into the channel to try to make more videos for you faster. Let's get started. Here's the dance floor. They got the subfloor on. In fact, they had the subfloor on this morning by about 11 o'clock, 11:30. I stopped up to try to get some action shots, but it was a little too busy here. I didn't think that they would appreciate it. But you can see that they got the subfloor completely on, and they've got half of the walls built here for the you would call it second story. Well, it's second story here on the front, because you can see we're pretty high up off the ground, but back in the back of the home, it's only about 4 feet off the ground. All right, let's take a look at a few things. This is going to be an interior wall right here, this long wall. And I just wanted to explain, I talked a little bit about this in the video yesterday, but this is a diagonal brace to keep this wall square so that it doesn't rack one way or the other. But kind of surprisingly, they only put, they put some nails down here at the bottom, and they put about 4 nails up here at the top. They didn't put any intermediary nails. It would have been nice. Just helps it hold it a little bit straighter, that's all. But anyway, that way this wall is not going to rack. It's not going to tilt this way or that way. And that's a good thing. And you can see they have all the other walls they built braced really well. A lot of bracing in here so the walls don't tip over. Here's another diagonal brace with this 2x6. But they also started to put the sheathing on, which absolutely will keep this wall stiff as can be. But we're going to go out and talk about the sheathing because I feel they made a big mistake. Here's another example of a header that I believe they made a big mistake on. All right, so it's a triple 2x10 again here. Only needs to be a double. And here's what's really interesting. Notice here, they've just got one jack stud. All right, they've just got one jack stud here. And this opening is very similar to the window downstairs. Remember, we talked about on day number 1. They also did put another double sill here, double rough sill, 2 2x6s. That, in my opinion, is a waste. Remember, these sills on a window, the only thing they support is just the weight of the window. I mean, it's virtually nothing. And, you've got the cripple studs underneath here. So a double it's just a waste, just more heat loss is basically, and you don't want that here in New Hampshire, I can tell you that. This is the zip sheathing, and here's the big mistake they made here, and you can easily verify this. All right, these are the nails. These are probably 8-penny nails they shot in, but the nails have gone in over a 1/4 inch deep. All right, they're recessed, all of them, every single one. They have the pressure on the air gun set too high. All right, and if you go to the Engineered Wood Association website, they have a technical bulletin about this. The nails are the top of the nail, the head of the nail is supposed to be flush with this green surface. It's not supposed to be recessed. Big, big, big mistake. It really, really compromises the strength of the sheathing. And every single nail that I see is overdriven. And actually, here's a few that are not gone in far enough. Here's one that's proud, it's sticking out of the surface. Here's another one that's proud. So that's a bad thing. I'm now down here at the front of the home, and let's look at the zip sheathing down here. It's the same problem. You can see right here, all these nails are overdriven. They're all too deep. They did start to put the zip tape on, which seals the seam between the two pieces. I'm not a big fan of the zip tape. I'm not a big fan of this system. And I'll tell you why. Let's see if I can show you why here. My biggest problem with it is they're not going to put an air barrier or a water barrier on top of this. And over time, what happens when this adhesive fails? And there's a really good chance it's going to fail, all right? So then your waterproofing system is compromised. So it just, all that the waterproofing counts on is the adhesive of the zip tape. I don't think that's a smart idea. If you go back in time, the old builders used to use tar paper, all right, and overlapping sheets of tar paper, which were protected from the elements by the siding. And I have taken apart 100-year-old houses, 100-year-old tar paper. It was a little brittle, but it was still water repellent. You could put water on it, it would beat up. And those houses had never rotted out. They were dry as a bone. Just not a big fan of the zip system. All right, let's talk about this big beam again. All right, here's that beam. Well, guess what? They finally installed the correct supports. They cut another piece of, I know it's really hard, you're getting blown out. Let's go outside here. They used another piece of treated engineered lumber here to support this end of the beam. All right, so that's good. That's a good material, especially since it's treated. And then they did the same thing here. All right, they've got a piece of treated here underneath this end of the beam. I know you're getting blown out by the light, but trust me, it's a piece of treated material. All right. They also did something I think really interesting down here. They wrapped the underside of this with the zip tape, but I have no clue how in the world they have fastened this to the concrete. It appears that there's no mechanical connection here or on the post next to it. I find that very odd. But here's the good news, all right? Guess what? This is the first time I've seen a plan. This is the floor plan of this lower level where I'm standing. And based on that, here's what I can tell you. Believe it or not, the master bedroom is right here in this corner. This is going to be the master bedroom. And there's going to be a small, tiny bedroom back in this corner. And out in this giant area here, all right, which is opposite the garage, this is going to be a giant family room. Really kind of an interesting plan. Really, really interesting. All right. So this is going to be the master bedroom. I don't know why. I would have never guessed that. I would have put the master bedroom upstairs. But what do I know? All right, let's go over here. So they put the sheathing on the walls out here, but it appears at this point they still have not decided to shim underneath the studs where they're supposed to have, you know, these are load bearing, all right, and there's a gap right here, all right. That's just not acceptable, all right. So, and I mean, look on this side of the window here. So this is all load bearing, and there are joists on top of it too. There's a floor up here, all right. So there's a lot of weight that's pushing down on this header here that then translates the load down to these jack studs, and there's no shims here. That's horrible. Crazy. I knew that would happen, but I wanted to wait and see for myself. But you know what? They still may save themselves, and before they're done with rough carpentry, maybe they'll come back and fill that in. Well, here's the good news. I didn't see any empty tubes outside, but this is a partially empty case of glue. So it appears that they used glue, you know, to glue the subfloor to the truss joists. So I don't see any oozing out, but at least we know that there's a really good chance they put down some glue. That's a good thing. Day number 2 is complete, and they got pretty much done. Looks a little willy-nilly. There's just kind of unfinished sheathing in places. But they haven't, I'm standing here in the garage, the lower garage, and remember, above me is going to be a concrete floor. I think it's going to be a concrete floor. We don't know yet. All right, so I don't see a plan of that. And I'm still waiting to see how they're going to do this part of the job. It's going to be really, really fascinating. And so far, I'll give these rough carpenters, I don't know, I'm going to give them a C+. That's about all. And I've seen better, a lot better. I know I was a lot better, and I've seen a lot worse. All right, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. They might be able to get the rest of those second-story walls on and probably have a lot more sheathing put on, would be my guess. And they've got a nice big lull here, and they've got a contraption they can put on the end of the lull that allows two men to stand up and work in the air. And that's how they're going to put the sheathing on. And I don't think it's as easy to do it that way, but what do I know? You know, what do I know? I used to eat lunch for 20 plus years sitting on overturned, empty drywall mud buckets, right? All right, if you learned anything new, if you discovered anything new, consider clicking the thanks text link that is underneath the video. And I'd appreciate it. Any and all revenue I plow back into the channel to make more videos for you faster. I'm Tim Carter, AskTheBuilder.com. If you want to discover more home improvement tips, go to AskTheBuilder.com.